Have you ever said, God, if you help me with this, I promise I'll give you that. And then later you thought, Lord, about that promise. Yeah, Leviticus 27 understands something about human nature that we sometimes forget. People make promises when their emotions are strong, and then they change their minds when life gets complicated. In ancient Israel, a person could dedicate certain property to the Lord. It might be a house, a field, or another valuable possession. The dedication was serious. It wasn't supposed to be a dramatic moment followed by, "Never mind, God, I need that back." But God provided a way to redeem the property. There was just one little detail. You had to add 1/5 to the assessed value, 20%. That's basically a biblical, "Are you sure?" fee. And I think that's fascinating because God was teaching his people something very practical. Don't make sacred promises casually. Imagine somebody saying, "God, I'm giving you this field." Everybody celebrates. Then, 3 months later, "Actually, I need that field." And God says, in effect, "You can redeem it, but don't treat your vows like they were made with a pencil that you can erase whenever circumstances change." The extra 20% created a consequence for impulsiveness. It made you stop and think. It slowed down your emotions long enough for wisdom to catch up. And isn't that something we desperately need today? We live in a culture of instant decisions. Click it, buy it, post it, promise it, then delete it. We can make a decision in 30 seconds and spend 30 years dealing with the consequences. Leviticus 27 teaches us to pause before we promise. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5 says, "When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it." In other words, don't make a promise to God just because you are excited in the moment. Don't bargain with God because you're scared. Don't make a spiritual commitment because you want something immediately. And don't tell God you'll surrender something if you're already planning to take it back. Jesus teaches a similar principle in Matthew 5:37. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. In plain language, mean what you say. Now here's where this gets personal. Maybe you've promised God your time. Maybe you've promised to serve. Maybe you've promised to forgive somebody. Maybe you said, "Lord, if you get me through this, I'm going to live differently." And then life got comfortable again. Suddenly, the promise doesn't feel quite as important. But God isn't looking for emotional promises. He's looking for faithful hearts. Psalm 15 verse 4 describes a person who keeps his word even when keeping that word becomes difficult. That's maturity. Anybody can keep a promise when it's convenient. Faithfulness says, "I said it, so I'm going to honor it." And there is another beautiful lesson here. God's system didn't simply say, "You messed up, you're finished." There was a path for redemption. There was a cost, but there was also a way back. That points us towards something even greater. Our salvation isn't something we purchase with a 20% premium. Christ paid our redemption price completely. 1 Peter 1 verses 18 and 19 says, "We were redeemed with the precious blood of Christ." So here's the little lesson I want you to carry with you. Don't make promises to God because you're emotional. Make commitments because you're surrendered. Slow down. Think. Pray. Count the costs. Then, when you say yes to God, let your yes actually mean yes. Because God doesn't need another dramatic promise. He wants a faithful life. And maybe the 20% change your mind tax is really a divine reminder. Think before you promise. Pray before you commit. And when you give God your word, don't treat it like something you can take back when life gets inconvenient.